Right. Hello. I would be great if you could let me know what you want to talk about today about your goals.
Well, that in itself is where possibly I have a lot of problems. The definition of goals requires some sort of plan, which I've abandoned more and more as I've grown older, and I tend to be more reactive. So
Do you have a day-to-day plan? Do you have a today I want to be able to achieve this?
no, I tend to be quite reactive in
Okay.
nearly everything I do. I have great plans about the things I'd like to do, but the reality is I then get bogged down. I deal with a lot of the things that come in, and I deal with them quickly. But it, it may seem strange to say, but if you want, my goal would be to be able to define my goals.
Okay.
Whilst I tend to just say, right, let's see what's this morning.
So we'll just let these people
Hang on a second.
call on. Yeah.
That's right. Pause those traps.
I think the very good start point is that it should be theory. I feel like there's things that we're not.
So I just want to go back a bit because you said as I've got older, I found that I'm less goal orientated. I just want to ask you, do you know what point in time you actually became less goal orientated? What was the trigger?
I, I could probably put some markers down, but it's not something I dwell on, so I don't know.
Okay.
I just find my reality now is very, very reactive
Okay.
rather than.
Because obviously, when you're reactive as opposed to proactive, it means that maybe you don't know where you're going to be in any given day or what the situation might be any given day. Is it that you want to come here and talk about how to maybe pull that back and put some goals in place?
To the extent that I may believe that it is a good idea, and I'm not 100% set on that it is a good idea to have goals in my particular moment in life, if you want. Yes, but unfortunately the basis for that assumption is weak because I'm not convinced even that I really the goals make much difference to me right now. I'm not running a factory that has to produce so many square meters of cloth. I'm managing my own life, and
Yeah, because you work for yourself.
yes,
So when you said that you're reactive, give me an example of a reactive day.
it's one where I would look at the emails first and see who's hassling me the most, what deadlines are looming, and okay, what do I have to do today, as opposed to, I really would like to get to that. So for instance, there's a thesis I have not been writing for ages, and I somehow believe that throughout the time, yes, it will be written.
So actually, maybe that could be your goal, is to talk about finishing your thesis.
Yes, if I really, again, not to be difficult in this, but if I really believed that that it was essential. I find that everything that is essential is short term, but I know rationally that there are some things that are fundamental, if not essential, and although I'd have to think about the distinction, but let's say instinctively I would say those two words, two adjectives, give an idea. And I'll say, well, that's tomorrow's problem.
Because goals can be reappraised again and again. You don't need to necessarily have a goal and stick to it for eternity or even, 5 years. I mean, gone are the days where people put in a 5-year plan. Sometimes goals can literally just be daily goals. So if we can break it down to a daily plan, you said that you check your emails, you're very reactive, who's asking you for what. What about time for yourself? Do you ever consider maybe a goal in a day of having some time for you?
I mean, it's limited and very light in the sense that I would do something for myself, like read something or watch. I'm an avid television series watcher, and I would do something like that. But it's something that can be stopped at any moment, and then I mean, I'd say, for instance, if I actually go out to a performance of any sort, be it a cinema, be it theatre, whatever, I will check my mail during the performance. Right? It's not a, but the issue there for me is just that's not a problem. It just exemplifies the fact that I'm very much letting the flow determine where I go.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily, I cannot say, as I have friends who have the same work method, I can't say that it's always wrong.
Well, you know, if it fits you and you're happy with it, then it not necessarily is wrong. I suppose what I want to ask you is go back and say, what do you want to get out of our talk today? What would you like to achieve, and how can I help you achieve it?
Well, the main issue would be I need to build a a method of prioritizing things in my life, and make sure that that is translated then into the governance system for my actions.
So you're talking about priority as in for yourself, or you're talking about work priority, so
There's no
urgent
difference for me.
versus...
I mean, because
Okay.
work is my life, my family and my work are my life.
Okay.
So the difficult part is saying, all right, these are the 50 things I've got to do, and how do I establish? And then, because I can do the exercise of saying, oh, obviously this has medium-term implications, this has long-term implications, so on and so on, and then go back. I'm better at telling other people how to do it. So, for instance, people who are under great stress, I say, well, wait a minute, how about sorting out your health first, then your family situation.
So it's the cobbler's children, really, I suppose, isn't it? It's not
yes,
so good at yourself.
Exactly, and that is really my biggest problem.
Okay.
I'd say is trying to translate what I can logically determine to be a priority into a plan that then makes it work, combines the priorities with the management of my time. There is a certain comfort. The biggest obstacle, I would say, is the comfort one gets in dealing with small issues.
When you're filling
It's
space.
very comfortable.
And I suppose what we're doing today is we're stripping that back to actually
Yes.
find out, and that's uncomfortable.
It is very uncomfortable to leave a tedious little email unanswered that I could just ignore or answer in 3 weeks'
Yeah.
time. That's tedious.
Do you like to answer all the emails that come into your inbox within the 24 hours, or do you...
If it's person to person, immediately.
Okay.
Even if it's, and I always tell people in organizations where they worked for me, I've always told them, answer them even if it's just to say, I'm sorry, I just don't have time to deal with you today, I will deal with it. I've always preferred that when it's person to person. The level of ill discipline in dealing with mails is demonstrated for me by the number of mails I've got in my inbox. Typically, I like to keep them under 100, but right now they're 255. At least they were before the lecture. So, again, my dealing with them has nothing to do with the longer term, with the assessment of the longer term importance and implications. I really think I will never write that thesis because I will never get down to spending an uninterrupted amount of time that I need to finish that thesis.
Because a thesis needs brain space. You're not going to have that brain space if you're always answering emails or dealing with urgent and important deadlines.
Plus the importance of anything that one of my children or my wife need, boom, gets super immediate attention and so on. Because if it's like you get the email, oh, I've got to talk to you about something,
Yeah.
you know, and then you don't let 6 hours go by when your daughter says, I'm going to talk to you about something.
No.
Or at least one doesn't, or I don't, to that extent. And bridging the medium and long term, that's the medium, so we say the longer term with the short, with the immediate course of actions. That is something I need to work on.
Okay, so I think now we've established what the goal looks like,
Yes.
and then obviously the next session we need to work out how we can actually formulate some sort of a plan. It's good just to talk about the goal
Yeah.
itself. All right.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Over and